Good morning, race fans. Yes, I'm very late this week. It's been a busy week, been running around. I got a property out in Upland that I've been driving out to deal with for a client. Yeah, what can I say? A bit of running around and a bit hectic. It took me a minute to get to this one, but Nashville, that's one of the best races all season. Denny Hamlin stumbled right out the gate, but what an epic performance coming from the back, sitting in the back. I mean, what can I say? He started on the pole, he screwed up, he jumped the start, which I think a lot of people didn't think that, but literally as I'm sitting here in my living room by myself watching this, I'm like, "Oh, he's going to get a penalty for that." Like there's no question, especially after what they did at Watkins Glen with Ross Chastain and a couple other people starting before the restart box, and it was obvious. It was obvious. But I do have this pulled up, and I want to actually go over what happened in. Oh wow, let me fix that, guys. Boom, 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 bam. All right, fixed. So let us watch this because I just think it's Denny Hamlin. He's one of the all-time greats. This victory in Nashville puts him one away from tying Kyle Busch. So, I mean, that puts him in rarefied air as far as I'm concerned. He's already in the top 10, but now he's competing with Kyle Busch on the all-times win list directly. Not just, oh, he's close, he's got 60 wins. No, he's one away from tying Kyle Busch. So, two away from surpassing Kyle Busch, which is just unbelievable. And I know like I personally am still a little like having a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that Kyle Busch is gone. And I think a lot of people are finally acknowledging how much we loved and respected and liked Kyle Busch, even though he kind of came off as a dick sometimes. But I think that was from years of being cast as the villain by the media and being asked very loaded questions, and his personality is to push back, or his personality was to push back and just frankly lean into the drama as a heel, kind of like WWE. So all right, that's a little bit of an aside, but let's get back into this because I do want to show just how much like, and here he goes. So all right, you're gonna see, here's the line, and boom, he's gone a good 50 feet before the line. Maybe my measuring's wrong, 30 feet, 3 car lengths. um but he got a good jump, just a little early. Like if he had done that right at the line, I think it would have accomplished what he wanted. He just was, I think, so geeked up, so amped up that he jumped and went super early. So what can I say? I thought the passing was good. I thought the overall action was good. The fact that Denny Hamlin got black flagged, had to do a pass through on pit lane, and then go to the back basically and ride around and then work his way back through the field was absolutely epic. And then I want to get to the finish because this is one of the most epic battles. We'll start here. Let's see how this goes. So, where are we? Will they put up on the screen how many laps? All right, there, lap 296, 4 to go. We got the restart. Denny Hamlin in P3, Briscoe P2, Bell in P1. And I think, frankly, Bell had probably the best car all night, but Denny Hamlin is that savvy, just Hall of Famer that he just, this was a tactical win, not a vehicle win. Denny Hamlin won the tactical battle while, Christopher Bell probably had the better car overall. Now, they're definitely comparing apples to apples. The fact that we have the three top JGR cars all battling here at the end is absolutely unreal. I thought this was some of the cleanest finish racing we've seen in a long time. I do feel bad for Christopher Bell in that, he was so hard on himself, but Denny played this exactly right. He did, leading up to that final turn where he hugged the bottom so closely, he kept doing this. He kept pushing C Bell up the track a little bit, up the track a little bit. And then the corner where he just hugs the bottom because there's no way. That's just a tactical win. That's a savvy veteran knowing, all right, this is what I've got to do to to get around him and get that pass. And then we're coming out, and there's Kyle Larson spinning out. We get all three, three wide. Unbelievable. And I just thought it was hilarious. We got like the blue car, the yellow car, and basically I'm colorblind. Is that red or orange car? But that pass, that's the one I'm talking about right there. That is the veteran move where he's pushed Bell up the track enough. And then instead of kind of, all right, this, not this one, the next one, instead of kind of staying on C Bell's door, he hugs the bottom, gets tight, takes the shorter route. It is an absolute master class. And, it's one of those where right there, he hugs the bottom and, just just works that corner so well and gets the lead. What can I say? That again, I keep repeating myself here, but that is a freaking master class in how to, when you're not the fastest car, to take advantage of just the shorter route around the corner. Yeah, Bell probably had the momentum, but Hamlin was able to make it work. And what an absolutely epic win. Um, you know, and then right here, the crash. Blaney got into Chase, got into Reddick, and Reddick went face first, nose first, right into the wall, completely destroyed that car. We'll see how well they can rebuild that, or if they're going to have to scrap it and go to a new chassis completely. But um, yeah, that was a pretty hard hit, and I think everybody was a little surprised. You know, both Blaney and Chase apologized to Reddick, so I don't think there was any intention there. It was just kind of awkward circumstances at the finish line. But overall, what a freaking great race. And I want to, quick go through and just kind of run through um, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, 1, 2, 3. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., absolutely phenomenal finish for him, finished fourth. And then our boy Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, another top 10 finish for him. As I said last week, somebody's figured out the ovals. And if he's figured out the ovals and if he can figure out qualifying, because that is the key, because remember, I think both of these past two races, qualifying was rained out. So it was metric where you finished, and however they figure out that metric, that got you your starting position. SVG started 10th, and just a phenomenal day for him. And then Tyler Reddick 6th, Chase Elliott 7th, Blaney 8th. Another one, Zane Smith. Phenomenal day, a second phenomenal week for Zane Smith. I feel like he's really kind of hitting his stride. I feel like, what is that, Front Row Motorsports is kind of getting a little bit of speed into their Fords. So we'll see, because the Fords have not been looking all that great this year. Every so often we'll get some speed out of the RFK camp, and then it'll switch, and then it'll be Blaney, and then it'll switch, and it'll be Zane. Now Blaney's a little bit more consistent, but they've definitely, Penske's definitely had a couple weeks where you're kind of like, where did all the Penskes go? What's going on? And then the other two I really want to talk about here are Carson Hocevar. Rough day for him, kind of in and out, not really a great showing. Got some people mad at him, but he did, there was an opening, inside a guy, and yeah. Now the one where he got inside Busher, and then I feel like he kind of lost his corner or lost his line and pushed up the track a little bit, which ended up leading to Busher into Wallace, and ended up Wallace into the wall. Completely unintentional. It did not look like, by design. It looked like he tried to, take the severe inside route, but they just couldn't keep the corner going. So he drifted up the track, which then pushed Busher into Wallace. Wallace having a rough go right now. So what can I say? And then Eric Jones, another great showing for Eric Jones. Gotta say that I'm really impressed with Eric Jones lately. So I think that's great. And then I like also seeing the other colleague car getting a 12th place finish. And then we got Ty Gibbs 13, Joey Logano 14, and Michael McDowell 15. I'm a Michael McDowell fan. I'd actually like so y'all need to go watch the Cletus McFarland video. He takes Jesse Love and Connor Zilish and Carson Hocevar, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse. I mean, there was a whole slew of people. Took them to the drag strip, but they got rained out. So only Connor and Jesse Love got to do a pass. And Downforce Danny. Downforce Danny got an 8.34 in the quarter mile. That is phenomenal. First time doing a drag pass and getting a low 8 second quarter mile is you could see the adrenaline in his face. It was pretty cool. So what can I say? Very good stuff. And then Noah Gragson also seems to be improving. So what can I say? Austin Dillon, couple incidents involving Austin Dillon. And then I like to see Daniel Suarez and Todd Gilliland here. So overall, I thought Nashville was one of the best races of the year. I think a lot of people I saw break hard scored it like an 85. I believe the Jeff Gluck fan. Did you like was this what is it? I guess the poll is, was this a good race or not? And 88% of the respondents said it was a good race. So I think that's going to line up with what I give you in my scoring. So let's get into my scoring before we get into point standing. So here we go. All right. I gave it an 84. Enjoyment, 8.5%. Passing, action, tire issues, rotor issues, exploding rotors. Connor Zilish, Ross Chastain, a couple other people, exploding rotors because, all right, you got too much air, a little too much cooling. They heat up. It just, the heat cycle. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but it definitely added some drama. And you got some radio chatter with SVG freaking out because his two teammates had rotors explode, but his crew chief was like, "Don't worry, we have a different setup than they do." Racing quality, I'm putting it at 8.5. This may be high. I could drop that down a little bit, but overall, passing, the race had a little bit of everything and a lot of strategy and just I think maybe the end, like that end with the three wide and the juggling between Briscoe and Bell and Hamlin, that probably kicked it up that half point there because that was just such a phenomenal final sequence. Strategy, same thing, proper, and this was more race craft strategy than pit or tire strategy, though there was a fair amount of pit and tire strategy as well. The tire had good fall off and you had to, really maintain your tires. So again, I scored this really high and I put an 8 for passing because it was pretty good passing, but not phenomenal passing. So we had a couple people like Denny Hamlin have to come all the way from the back to the front to win. So gave it an 84 altogether, and that puts it, where'd it go? Second on my races for the year, behind Atlanta. Atlanta is still kind of winning at 86%. Nashville second at 84. Then Daytona, Phoenix, and Darlington. So, and I think a lot of people, if they looked at my grading, I think that they would see that and go, all right, that's a fair list of the top 5 races of the season. Now they, may have a little different order, but I think that would most people would go, you know what, those probably are the top 5 cup races of the season so far. So let's keep going. The O'Reilly race, I really enjoyed the O'Reilly race. Let me get my, and then we got to get up to, yeah, Justin Allgaier had a great day. Great win for him. Brent Cruz came in second. I was kind of getting excited. I thought we could see a Brent Cruz win, but what can I say? How cool is it that we got the 40-year-old versus the 18-year-old? The old guard versus literally the kid who wasn't old enough to do super speedways, during the early part of the season. Now he's had a birthday and he can race all the tracks. So overall, I gotta say that the O'Reilly race was also really, really, really good. So let us look at that. I scored the O'Reilly race in 81. 8.5 enjoyment, 8 for the race quality, 8 for strategy, 8 for tire, 8 for passing. So overall, it was really good. But I mean, this is one of the few weekends where I feel that the Cup race really did surpass both the truck race and the O'Reilly race. That's not always the case. Frequently, we're all talking about how the O'Reilly race kind of had better racing than the Cup race because it's the car. But I do think that this weekend the cup race was the best race of the weekend. And then let's just quick pop over the trucks. And I gave the trucks an 81. Really enjoyed that race too. But let me see if I can get to, because Lane Riggs just he dominated dominated the first two stages. Then in the third stage, ended up dropping back a bit, and then he had to work his way all the way through and get back up. But it was just the whole race. He was the show. It was the Lane Riggs show from the jump, and awesome to see it. I'd like to see Lane Riggs get more O'Reilly races. Let's get him up into the O'Reilly series. Maybe you know, maybe RCR needs another truck, or maybe there needs to be maybe Ford needs to actually expand their presence in the O'Reilly series, because I can't think of a Ford team in the O'Reilly series right now. I think the one that had what was it, Garcia? Uh or no, Nick Sanchez? Was it Sanchez? Ended up shutting down, and so yeah, he doesn't have a ride right now. So what can I say? This is I'd like to see Ford, if there's a spot, come back into the O'Reilly series. But if not, I think Lane Riggs needs a ride in the O'Reilly series. Let's do a third RCR car or something. Maybe Lane Riggs can run the Cletus car when Cletus isn't running it or something. But what can I say? I would like to see Lane Riggs in the O'Reilly series. Um, the dude can freaking drive. Same thing with Honeycutt. Caden Honeycutt, really good. Where did Honeycutt finish? 27th. What happened? I'll have to go back and look at that because he was having a pretty good day. Rajah Caruth, solid day for him, but there was no way Rajah Caruth was catching Lane Riggs. It was just, once Lane Riggs recaptured the lead, it was game over. Chandler Smith had a really good day. I believe he is teammates with Lane Riggs. Ross Chastain looked really solid. But overall, yeah, truck race was really good. And yeah, so let us keep going. Bam. Let us keep going. And we are going to jump to this. So I just love these old Winston Cup series standings. So these are the standings as if we were still using the point system from the Winston Cup. And what I like about it is it's basically showing us that the same top 10 from the Winston point system would be the top 10 now. Yeah, the points are different and the order is usually different, but they're usually pretty close. So I think this is pretty cool. Plus the classic music. So classic graphics. It's just cool. I'm a fan. But so what do we got? We got Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs is top 5. Oops. Let us go to standings. Sorry, that got all weird there for a second. So Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs. Same top 5. All right, that fixed it. All right. Same top 5, right? Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs. All right. The only difference is the order of a couple of these. So the next 5, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Buscher, Hocevar, Suarez. Buscher, Bell, Hocevar, Suarez, Larson. So Larson is definitely in a different spot. He should be, He's sixth in the standing. Yeah, sixth in the standings in the current system, but 10th in the standings in the old system. So what can I say? I do think that this is a very merit-based system that frankly works, and it's basically doing what we had in the old Winston Cup system, but it's basically been modernized for stage racing and for a chase format. So what can I say? I think this is accomplishing the goal of a more merit-based championship versus the old system, which was more of like, can you survive and luck into it? And I know that's maybe trivializing it a little bit, but frankly, a one race winner take all is not right for this type of racing. This is a cumulative long term points based racing system. So, what can I say? And then, yeah, I love what I'm seeing here from Spire. We got where'd Michael McDowell is just a few points out. So he is looks like 31 points out of 16th, 3 spots out. And then we got, Ryan Preece 1 spot out. If he had been able to get rid of that bullshit penalty, then he would be in the race instead of Austin Cindric. So yeah. But overall, I think the biggest drop, all season has been Bubba. The biggest gain probably has been Chase Briscoe. But got SVG sitting at 12th. He moved up 2 spots. I mean, the fact that he's figuring out ovals should scare everybody, because now we've got the San Diego road course and Sonoma. Those are two potential wins, or most likely at minimum top fives, right? So he's going to be getting a bunch of points over those two road course races. So if he can average a top 10 finish on ovals, he's going to make the chase, and that's what makes him particularly dangerous. And then, you know, I know a lot of people don't want more road courses. I actually think that we should probably, I kind of think 5 or 6 might be the sweet spot for the number of road courses. 5 might be what drivers prefer. Um, but the reason I'm going 6 is because that's basically, you know, an equal portion. Uh, it's like 1/6 of the season, if that makes sense. Um, and that's why I kind of think if you look at it that way, okay, we have 1/6 of the season is road courses. We've got the rest are a mixture of super speedways, intermediates, and short tracks, and I think that's a good balance. But yeah, Brad Keselowski, yeah, he got wiped out. He dropped a couple points, but he's still in the chase. But yeah, the ones that we're still surprised about: Ross Chastain sitting at 26th. Um, Alex Bowman, I think we just kind of have to toss this year because of the vertigo stuff. And then Connor Zilic is just, I feel bad for him because he's racing. It's not him, in my opinion. It's the Trackhouse Chevys have not been that fast until recently. And then he's also just had a lot of bad luck. He got wrecked at Coda multiple times. He's been wrecked. He had, the rotor failure at Nashville this week caused a DNF. It's just he's had things that were outside of his control over and over and over again impacting his finish. So, what can I say? I think, this should not be indicative of Connor Zilic, but because when he goes back and races the O'Reilly series, he wins. So we know he can drive. His equipment has been hit or miss this year, but he's just been involved in a bunch of wrecks and just bad luck. You get, somebody spins in front of him and he gets hit. It's just a lot of bad luck for Connor Zilic. So overall, I thought the Nashville races were all fantastic. All B scores, 84, 81, yeah, 81, 81, 84. And so what can I say? Great races in Nashville. I do think the track compound helped open up the passing lanes on the corners, and overall, just a great weekend of racing. And I am looking forward to Michigan. I'm a Michigan boy. I like that track a lot. I like how fast it is, and what can I say? Let's have some great racing this weekend. Now I know ARCA is today at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Western. O'Reilly series is off this weekend. And then trucks will be on Saturday. And I'm not sure how I'm going to watch the ARCA race today because it's on FS2. I might have to do a free preview. I get FS1, I've got my sling package. But this is one of the things I wish that ARCA was a little easier to watch because that is the feeder series. Maybe this is something that maybe the CW, if it's, possible, can pick up ARCA too, or find another channel, find another smaller channel that's willing to put the ARCA up that needs some eyeballs. Because what can I say? I just, FS2 is not part of the normal Sling Blue, I think it's Blue package. And so it's not one that I just can easily click onto. I got to figure out how to watch. And I think that is one of the issues right now with NASCAR watching as a fan is that, okay, ARCA, where is it going to be? Is it going to be on FS1? Is it going to be on FS2? Am I going to be watching it on the NASCAR website? Or am I just going to be relegated to only watching the Cletus McFarland in camera on YouTube and watching the whole race from inside Cletus's car? So, I don't mind doing that, but I kind of would prefer to at least have the option of seeing the actual race from, an elevated position, not from an in-car camera. And then trucks on, ooh, that's a good question. Trucks on Saturday, where is that going to be broadcast? Is that going to be, I think it's FS1. June 6th, Brooklyn, Michigan. Yeah, FS1. Okay, that's good. And then Prime, Amazon Prime. I'm a fan of their coverage. I like their pre-race show. I like their post-race show. I like the fact that the post-race show is not 5 minutes long like some of the ones for the CW or the Cup Series. I feel like they barely interview anybody. I like the post-race interviews. I like having all the drivers come and sit at the desk and talk about it because that is the debrief for the fans. I want to hear it from the driver. I like the way that Prime is doing it. I like the different camera angles. Yes, there have been, a few missteps, as with any broadcast, but overall, the rapport between Dale Jr. and Steve Letarte is phenomenal, obviously, because they were driver and crew chief, and it gives you the insight of driver and crew chief, and especially a driver and crew chief who used to work together. So I think that is great. And overall, I feel like they're giving us better camera angles for the most part. Every so often you're like, oh, I wish I had a different angle, but they have a ton of cameras and a ton of different angles that the Fox crews don't give us. And they seem to be better at cutting to, oh, there's an incident over here. Yeah, it's not the leaders, but there's an incident. Though with the Kyle Larson one, they did not get to that one until later, but I think that that's fair because the race with Christopher Bell, Busher, and Denny Hamlin at the front was way more interesting than anything else that going on the track right then. But then you have the trio pass this giant billowing smoke, and you're like, what's going on there? So you're like, doing a double take. But what can I say? I think Amazon Prime's doing a good job. You know, not perfect. There definitely room for improvement. But right now, as first couple broadcasts, I'm thinking they're doing A minus B plus work, and an A or an A plus are easily in sight for them because I think they're just set up, and the way they do it is just better than the way Fox does it. I find the personality is a lot more compelling. Corey LaJoy, I think actually has some pretty good insight. And I like that they brought on Carl Edwards. I like that they brought on Mark Martin. I'd like to see Mark Martin like every week. I think he's fun. So I would be rotating all these past drivers in and out a lot more. Utilize them. And overall, I just love NASCAR like you. So hope you're having a good day. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think, and let's keep this conversation going. Talk to you soon.